Hey man, and I'm so glad that you're here today as we continue to plug through our look at the Jinbao oversized KO of Warbotron. And we're going to look at the last of the limb lads today, that being the other arm. Who is this guy? This is their take on Air Burst, better known to most fans as Blastoff. And this kind of fantastic guy is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right baby, hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family. Have a look for me everywhere across social media. All of those links down in the description. And this is Air Blast, or Blastoff, if you will. Heavily stylized, but you know what? The articulation is pretty top-notch, the coloration is acceptable, and the transformation, as you'll see, is really intuitive and logical, but interesting at the same time. Anyway, enough of me gushing about this guy. Let's head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And so we dive into the last of the limb lads, that being the other arm of the Jinbao oversized KO of Warbotron, or Bruticus if you will. This is the right arm of the combined mode. This is Air Burst, better known to most as the character Blastoff. Why there was ever a shuttle that was part of the Combaticons, I'll never know, but hey, there was, and here he is. Of course, before we get into the dude himself, we're gonna look at his, you guessed it, instructions. And they're like all of the Jinbao instructions. They're fine, they're big, they're bold. There's a couple of steps that aren't as clear here as I would like for them to be, but it doesn't really affect much, and I'll kind of address that as we go through the conversion with this guy. And here we have our shuttle yet again, and here he is in comparison to the Combiner Wars shuttle Blastoff, not the jet version. Although a lot of people like the jet version and have said, hey, a fighter jet makes sense with the Combaticons is where a shuttle doesn't. But nevertheless, for us G1 traditionalists, this is the Combiner Wars shuttle version. The Unite Warriors also had a lighter colored shuttle version. As a matter of fact, the Unite Warriors colors kind of match Air Burst colors a bit better. So if you want something brighter, that's probably the route to go. Nevertheless, here are the two shuttles, and you can see that the Jinbao oversized KO is much bigger than the Combiner Wars boy. Now we can get into the transformation for this guy. I'm not going to give him any of his scores yet. We're going to do that after we get him in robot mode. Honestly, a lot of the things that you do to get to limb mode, because he's an arm, are the same things you do to get to robot mode. I will also point this out immediately. You can pick these pieces off and split them apart, and using a slider on the side, they can become like missile pod things. You can attach them to the forearms with these 5mm pegs, or you can bring down the whole handle and they can go in his hands. So I'm just going to lay them aside. There's two of them. I personally prefer them on his forearms, but that's just me. You do whatever suits you. The reason I like them on his forearms is because if we fold this up and in over, we have a blaster down here. We have one on the other side as well. Those ones can go held in the hands as well because they have 5mm ports, or you can leave them in right where they're to and kind of have them be like lower leg shin guns, I guess. You'll see that later on. Or of course they can go held in his hand as well. But I tend to just leave them there. I don't move them. Nevertheless, I guess we can bring both of those up over. Why not? And we will angle up the two little thrusters, and we will fold down these sections here and extend. When we do that, that's a good portion of the transformation done to get to limb mode. We put up the landing gear in the chest. We can open up the chest flap and we can try to get the combiner peg out. I guess fold that down. And we have that done. So far, so good. I would like to be able to just stop it here. But we do need to kind of do something with the arms. For display purposes, this would be nice, but nevertheless, we pick this up on the side, and that allows us to access this panel here and pick it up. Same on the other side, and it allows us to pick it up. Now, this is where things get weird in the instructions. It says to bring out the shoulder, fold this in, and then you need to rotate it. Now, it looks like you rotate the shoulder around and bring it kind of, let's see if I can do this. Bring it kind of like that. It's not clear, and I can't even guarantee that this is exactly correct, but it's what I do. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Blame it on the instructions, man. So we bring out the shoulder, we rotate it again, and we angle that arm up and in the same way. Now, you are supposed to turn him at the waist. He's this arm. So you're supposed to turn him, according to the instructions, this way, but that only gives you an elbow bend at the hip. So I turn it around this way, so you get a double elbow bend at the hip and at the knee. As well, you could use these pegs here, or peg holes, to put the rocket pieces in. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to sandwich the leg down here in between the, I guess the feet, and I'll show you the kind of finished arm mode. And here we have the arm. It looks kind of bulky because I put those pieces on, but you know what? We still have a shoulder thanks to that peg. We still have a swivel thanks to the waist. We still have a double elbow thanks to the hips and the knees. We have a wrist swivel. We have articulated fingers. If you want to know how he compares to the Combiner Wars lad, well, there you go. Obviously, the KO of Air Burst is significantly bigger. No shock there. Now that we're here, it's actually very easy to go to the robot mode. Normally, what I've been doing with this series is putting them back in a shuttle mode and then going to robot. But honestly, we might as well just continue from here. So far, it's been a pretty easy conversion. Just to sort of reiterate what's been done so far, we get that out. We folded the wings around the legs. We brought the thrusters out, they will become heel spurs, and we turn them at the waist, though we will turn the waist back now. We bring down now these feet pieces, and we're just going to rotate the toe around and rotate the toe around. At this point, we can also push that up into his chest and bring the chest piece down over. We're going to stand him up. He's going to go off screen, so I'm going to have to readjust so we can finish off the upper body. And here we are. Pay attention that when you extend those legs, they do have a soft click. So you need to make sure that you extend them until you hear that soft click. Now, the arms, by rights at this point, should be able to come down, but I'm going to, yes, bring them down, but I'm going to fold them back. Why am I folding them back? I'm folding them back because, bring down that heel. I'm folding them back because I want to deal with this nose cone and these shoulder pieces first. The nose cone untabs, and the whole thing will come down on the back. We'll fix that up in a few moments. Then we come to the shoulder pieces here, and they split, but you need to get the shoulders out of the way, because the way this works is it comes out and then rotates around, and then you can bring the shoulder out underneath it. The instructions have the arms already out and tell you to bring this down, turn it around. You can't really do it well if you have the arm already out. So do that and bring the arm out. Now you can, angle them down like that if you're so inclined. Come around to the back here, open these sections out and bring this all the way down. I guess then you can bring these back, fold those little tabs in if they weren't already, and gotta make sure that they're tabbed in, but boom, If I can get him to stand properly. In the end, here we have Air Burst in his robot mode. And there's our boy next to the Combiner Wars iteration of himself, and this brings us to his scores. The transformation, honestly, going through all three modes is simple. It's easy. You might find, I don't know, locking the knees in a slight nuisance, but you know, you might find the way you have to twist the shoulders and biceps around a slight nuisance, but honestly, when you've done it once or twice, it's pretty easy. I'm going to give it a solid 9 for sure. In terms of his paint apps and his look, it's very stylized. My custom Combiner Wars one is more in keeping with the animation, so I sort of wish that Air Burst, or the KO Air Burst here, had more black around his torso, maybe with just this centerpiece being purple. I wish his lower legs were black and his toes were purple. This coloration for Air Burst is closer to the G1 release rather than the G1 animation. And indulge me momentarily, if you will. If we were to turn this guy around, now he is more in keeping with his G1 release, and you can see that Air Burst is closer to that. So I'm going to say, honestly, you know that it's Blast Off. I'm going to give him a solid 8 for that. So we have about an 8.5 so far. What about that articulation? Well, the articulation is probably what you would expect. We have a head that can go left, right, up, down. The shoulders could go all the way around if not for the shoulder pads, but honestly, they're not, you have a butterfly there, you have a bicep swivel, you have a nice 90 degree, little over 90 degree elbow. I did not flip out his hands. I can't believe I went through all that and didn't flip out his hands. Oh, so many people must have been yelling at me to flip out his hands. My apologies, I got too caught up with the shoulders. Nevertheless, with the hands, we have a wrist swivel, we have a base pin at the knuckles for his finger articulation. Like I said, bicep swivel, nice elbow, a little over 90 degrees. The shoulder can go forward, it can go back. Butterfly, I said all that. We have a nice waist, we have hips all the way, way out to the side. They go backwards on heavy joints a lot. There's one solid hip skirt piece. I wish that was a couple of pieces, but it allows you to get the leg way forward. We do have a thigh swivel. We do have a little under 90 degrees at the knee. I wish that was slightly more. We do have a heel spur that tilts. I love that it's the thruster. We have the toes. They also tilt. Honestly, you can score some pretty dynamic poses with him if you want. He holds a pose. Well, I'm going to say that his articulation is a 9. Overall score for this guy is a 9. He's quite good. Here he is with all 4 members of this team that we've looked at so far in order from what I think is the best to the worst. Hands down, Slash Strike is the top-notch one, I think, for this set, followed closely by Air Burst. Then in third, a little more fiddly, but still quite functional, we have Whirlwind, and on the end last, unfortunately, because of really poorly done shoulders and elbows, coming close to making him not good. Not quite. We're not quite there. He's still good. He's just not as good as the other ones. In last place has to be Heavy Noisy. So at the end of the day, what can I say? Not a whole lot. The guy's every bit a 9. He's quite good. Perfect? No. Stylized? Yes. But overall, a very nicely done version of Blast Off. And here we are once again, and I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. One, I'm sorry that I forgot about the hands. 2, I was able to pull the leg down a little bit more. I didn't quite have it clicked in place. It does arguably give him a knee to 90 degrees. I think I said that it wasn't quite 90 degrees, but it is. This guy's good. The shoulder pads, yeah, some people are put off by them, and the fact that because they exist, you can't really go all the way around with the arm, but you know what? It really doesn't affect things. I mean, you can move them out of the way enough that do you really want more than that? You know, yes, it'd be nice if it could just go all the way around, but like, I think it's acceptable the way that it is. There's a ton to like here. The conversion between all three modes is almost seamless. It's very logical. It makes sense, and it's kind of very clean in the end. Even the way this is on the back is pretty clean. I like the coloration. I wish the brown was a little darker, personally. This looks more like milk chocolate. I guess I'd like a little bit of dark chocolate brown color. And I wish that there was a little more black or gunmetal gray on the guy. He's good, but I do see a couple of places where they could have improved him aesthetically. The articulation top-notch, the conversion top-notch. I like the guy. Let me know what you think about this, lad, and which blast-off is your favorite blast-off. You know, I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important, how very important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donate link down in the description. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, stick around, be part of the community, have some fun with us. Don't forget, somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do very much make a difference. I implore you right now to make smart choices for you, for your family, for the entire community around you. And I look forward, man, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit. Either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres of the old-fashioned way, baby. Right here, inside the videos.